Senator brought up Social Security. Let me just say he's absolutely right in terms of the projections. If we wait till 2037, do absolutely nothing, then the projections show we can only pay 78% of scheduled benefits. Now, if you imagine, let's say, suppose we got to a situation where we literally couldn't pay the bills for Social Security. Well, we were actually there in 1982. We were there. We created a bipartisan commission chaired by Ellen Greenspan, and guess what? Everyone got their checks. Now, come 2037, the Social Security population will be about twice as large as the share of the voting population as it is today. How much money would it take to make sure all the checks went out? It'd equal about 1.2% of GDP. Not a trivial sum, but let me point out how much we've increased defense spending since 2000. About 1.8% of GDP. So we're talking less than 2/3 as much. So what's your bet? Do you think people will get 78 cents on the dollar? Or do you think we will find a way to raise the money? My guess is the latter. Okay, but returning today, what should be done? Well, I think the real problem is we've been sort of focusing on the wrong issues. And I can give you a long list. I won't be as long as the senator, but I'll just give you a couple things. One is I'd like a public option for Medicare, and also with the exchanges that will go into place in 2014. So a public health care option. And secondly, a mandate to the Treasury to get the dollar down by 20%. And I'll quickly explain both of those. Our long-term debt story is overwhelmingly a healthcare story. That's something that people fail to realize. If we have a nice little calculator on our website where we say pick any country in the world that has longer life expectancy than the United States, and it's scary how many, because it includes not just Germany, Canada, countries you might think is comparable. We also have countries like Chile and Costa Rica. I mean, nothing wrong with those countries, but they're a lot poorer than us, so it's sort of striking that they have longer life expectancy. And we say, suppose that instead of paying how much we pay per person for health care, we pay the same amount as your country, Germany, Canada, England, maybe you have some crazy French people, whichever. You pick that country. Well, we all know these deficit charts that go through the roof. Deficit comes to 40% of GDP by 2050. Well, instead, if you pick Germany, if you pick Canada, it doesn't matter which country you pick, the surplus becomes enormous. We have enormous budget surpluses rather than deficits. The point is very simple. We spend more than twice as much per person on health care, and the projections, these aren't mine, these are Congressional Budget Office projections, the one that showed the debt going through the roof, they assume that gap will continue to grow. Now, I don't know that that's going to be true, but that's the working assumption. That's why you get these huge deficits 20, 30, 40 years out. If we fix our healthcare system, and we can't be that much stupider than people in Canada and Germany and everywhere else, if we fix our healthcare system, we don't have this huge deficit problem. We fix the bulk of the problem if we fix healthcare. So we should, instead of be talking, to my mind, about deficits, talking about healthcare. The other point, again, Senator Simpson was talking about us borrowing from abroad. That is an issue. That's not the budget deficit. I don't know a single person, the problem is we're buying imported goods from China. So people go to Walmart and they get, the shirt that was made in China or shoes or whatever it is. You go and you get the thing that was made in China. I don't know a single person who has ever gone in there and said, well, I think I might buy the American-made good, but wait a second, we have a huge deficit, I'll buy the good from China. Doesn't work that way. The reason why they buy the goods from China is because they're cheaper. Why are they cheaper? Because the dollar is overvalued against the Chinese currency. How do you address that? Well, we can get the deficit down. That's not going to directly address that. The way you address that is you get the dollar down. We have to get the dollar down. It's that simple. That is the only way to get our trade closer to balance. And if we're concerned about how much we're buying from China, borrowing from China, or whoever it might be, the key to that story has to be to get the dollar down. So what I would love to see, and I know it's not going to be there, well, actually, maybe we'll be Disneyland or something, is Congress say that, one, as part of the debt ceiling, we're going to have a public option for Medicare in the health exchanges that go into place under the ACA in 2014, and two, a mandate to the Treasury to get the dollar down by at least 20% in some fixed time horizon, 2, 3 years, whatever it might be. I think that would address our most important problems.